Okay, so here we are, the first OCB 101 webinar. We're going to give it a minute or two, let a couple more people trickle in. Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a great day and an awesome week. We got some wonderful information to share with you guys in regards to competing in the 100% drug tested and natural OCB organization, whether it's here in the Midwest where I'm located, the East Coast, Southwest, or wherever it might be. All right, OCB 101. Thanks for tuning in, checking this out. I hope you guys find this information super useful. A little bit about me. My name is Ray Binkowski. I'm the promoter of the Unconditional Pro Qualifier OCB Midwest States, which occurs every Saturday before Thanksgiving in DeKalb, Illinois, about an hour north of Chicago. And also the OCB Spring Naturals every April. Again, another OCB Unconditional Pro Qualifier. My backstory: former fat guy that lost 60 pounds over 20 years, turned bodybuilder, competitor, judge, promoter, owned a commercial health club for 12 years, sold it this past January. I've written 4 books. That's me with a couple photos of 2 of the titles. Are all available on Amazon. I got into promoting simply because I looked at what was available. I looked at the experience I was having and questioned, can we do a better job? Or can a better job be done in terms of event promotion? And I thought the answer was yes, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Now let's dig a little bit into the OCB. Why do you want to compete? Like everything else in life, you got to set a goal and you got to have a pretty strong why, or not much will happen. This is an individual thing. All of us do it for a different reason. Some people, it's a bucket list item. It might be a one and done. We've had competitors get on our stage to date. I've promoted 19 or 20 contests. We've had about, 800 or 1,000 competitors. And for some folks, it's one and done. It's a bucket list item. They lost a bunch of weight and they decide, you know what, I'm going to see this through to getting the confidence, esteem to step on stage. So what's your why? A little bit about the OCB. First, you're going to notice 2 logos, top left. That orange logo tends to be the amateur non-OCB Pro logo. And then the green one on the right is going to be that OCB Pro logo. So we've had competitors ask in the past, well, what's the green one or what's the orange? I don't think there's anything set in stone, but typically you'll see the green logo associated with OCB Pro events information, and you'll see the orange associated with the amateur level. The OCB was started in 2003 with the purpose of providing a platform for natural competitors to showcase their physiques on a level playing field. So what exactly does level playing field mean? In the world of physique contests, that level playing field is going to be drug-free. It gives all of us the opportunity to step on stage and compete with what we brought kind of from the factory naturally, so no drugs. And that is it perfect? No, but it's the best way, 100% drug-free, to create that level playing field. So you can look at that competitor to your left and right on stage and know that you all have an equal opportunity to be competitive, possibly leave with some hardware, and win a contest. So how do we arrive at the 100% drug-free? Polygraph testing. All OCB contests and all OCB competitors must be polygraph drug tested within 6 weeks of the contest they're competing in. Polygraph results from other OCB events are acceptable, and in some cases, polygraph results are acceptable from other drug-free organizations. That's as the rule is at this point in time for the OCB. So again, it's 100% drug tested. Every competitor is polygraphed. To those that say polygraph testing doesn't work, I would say, have you ever been polygraph tested? To those that say it's not admissible in court, there are cases where polygraph examinations can be used in court. Again, the goal is create a level playing field. And this is step one in the direction of creating that level playing field. Do people fail? Yes, they do. I can speak from a promotion standpoint. We've had competitors take the polygraph examination, and then I've had the displeasure of informing them that they're ineligible to compete in our event. Maybe they took, in some cases over the years, an over-the-counter product that was on our banned substance list. You can find that banned substance list on our OCB organization website, which is ocbonline.com. So sometimes a competitor may be ineligible because they took a product that was on the banned substance list, even though it was over the counter. In other cases, yes, we've had people attempt to sneak in and compete on a level playing field for all of the other competitors, where maybe they were knowingly taking an anabolic steroid or a performance enhancing drug. So they were intentionally trying to cheat and beat the system. And yes, they failed the polygraph test. And yes, we've had to tell them that I'm sorry, you're ineligible to compete, and you will be ineligible for a number of years to come. So again, the whole goal of the polygraph testing is to create a level playing field, get everybody an equal opportunity to be competitive. And so that, you know, that competitor on your left and right on stage, they're doing the same things you are, and they're not doing anything that you are not. Who is urine tested, and where does this factor in? Typically, in an OCB Pro qualifying event, if a Pro card is going to be awarded, the competitor, like all the other competitors, will have already passed a polygraph exam. They're also going to have to submit immediately after leaving stage to a urine test. The urine sample is collected and it's sent into a lab for analysis. And this is kind of a sample of what is tested for and what's going to come back to both the OCB organization, and the competitor does actually get a copy of this drug test. And I will tell you again, as a promoter, we've had individuals that, though they passed polygraph, and I'm going to give you an example, but they failed the urine test. So how does that happen? Well, we had an individual, somebody gave him a quote unquote water pill the night before his contest. He had polygraphed hours earlier and passed, and somebody said, hey, here's a water pill, take this. He took the water pill. It was a prescription water pill. It showed up in his urine. So when we got his urine test back, I had to call him and inform him that he indeed was no longer an OCB Pro. So it's kind of a two-pronged approach. We polygraph everybody. Overall winners, if it's an OCB Pro qualifying event, are going to be submitted immediately to a urine test. I can also tell you we had a competitor win their Pro card. They got off stage, picked up their trophies, packed up their stuff, headed out of the venue, and quote unquote started to drive home. They failed to take the urine test, which we make clear at time of check-in. It comes up in the competitor meeting. It's announced during awards for every class if a Pro card is a possibility. Competitors, please note, if you do win first or you win the overall, this is a Pro qualifying class, you must submit to urine test. This competitor did not do so, so she did not get her urine card. She contacted me the next morning and said, I forgot to take the urine test. Can I come do it now? The answer is no, and she was not awarded the OCB Pro card. Why is the OCB different when it comes to drug testing? Or I would extend this. Why is the OCB different from other organizations? First and foremost, the OCB only promotes drug-free events. We don't have a drug-free side of the organization and then the quote-unquote other side. All of our contests are 100% drug-free, and they're all 100% drug tested. The OCB pays for the urine testing. So when we are going to award a Pro card and a competitor does take and submit to a urine test, it's at the OCB promoter's expense. And I know this because I've written the checks for many years for all of the urine tests that get sent in for the events I promote. So there's no cost to the urine test, for the urine test, to the competitor. The OCB does not randomly test amateurs with urine testing. It's only the winners of OCB Pro qualifying events. Again, the results of the urine test go to the OCB, and a copy goes to the competitor. So I've had competitors state that they've never gotten the results from a urine test before, but they won our show, won their pro card, and lo and behold, in the mail, they got the results in the mail. Yes, we really do send the urine test in, honest to goodness, and proof positive of that statement is the fact that competitors that have earned their pro card will say, yes, I did get my urine test results in the mail. New pros will be subject to random testing. This is something that's in the future for the OCB Pro organization, but at this point in time, I do not believe that we are doing that. OCB never reveals the names of the competitors that are deemed ineligible to compete, i.e. the examples I gave prior in the case of the polygraph or in the case of individuals failing a urine test. You know, our goal is to create a level playing field. It's not to give somebody a black eye. And I can tell you, when pro hormones were popular and readily available, there were cases where competitors took something, they had no idea. They bought it at the local supplement store. They were ineligible to compete. There's absolutely no reason to shame them. That doesn't help anybody. Certainly doesn't help the organization. So that's not something we do. You won't see us making a post, creating a web page or anything else. We don't publicly shame those competitors that are either ineligible for whatever reason or that fail a urine test. If somebody does fail a urine test, the second place winner is awarded that placing. So we do correct it. We do move that down. Now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the OCB in a contest. And we're going to talk first about categories. Categories would be things like bikini, figure, men's physique, men's bodybuilding, women's physique, classic physique. So these would be the categories. Next, we're going to take a look at the divisions. Divisions are going to be things like transformation, novice, open, maybe an age group where you may have masters 40 plus, or you may have a teen division. Okay, so there's a difference between categories and divisions, and not all OCB events will offer all of the same categories or all of the same divisions. So for example, some contests may not offer something for teens. Some may not offer transformation. That's at the promoter's discretion. All right, so then we also have classes. Okay, so category, division, class. Category would be bikini. Division would be novice. Division could be open. Division could be masters 40 plus. And then the novice may be split typically by height, and we're going to discuss that a little bit further in a couple minutes. But you could have class 1, bikini novice, class 1, bikini novice, class 2, bikini novice, class 3, so on and so forth. It's common for the events we promote. For bikini, we usually have at least 2 classes, if not 3. That could also be, the class name could be medium. It could be short and tall. It's just a way to break up that novice group. And again, that's typically along the lines of height. One thing to note, you can compete in more than one division. So we have novice, we have open, and masters. That same competitor, bikini competitor, can be in novice, she could be in open, and she could also be in masters if she is over the age of 40 the day of the contest. So 40 or older the day of the contest. That competitor could not compete in multiple categories. So she could not do bikini and then also do figure. The OCB doesn't allow for that. And by the way, it doesn't make sense, because if you go to ocbonline.com and you look at the information for bikini and you compare and contrast that with the information for figure, they should be two different looks. As a result, the OCB does not allow somebody to compete in more than one category. Division, yes. Category, no. Transformation. This is not always offered. It's at the promoter's discretion. In some cases, it's a bucket list. It's people that kind of need that goal, need the motivation to lose pounds, lose inches. All right, John, you asked, is that only for bikini? Can you elaborate which part you meant? Is that only for bikini? I apologize, I just saw that question. So John, if you're still with us, please explain a little bit more about what you're asking there, and I'm happy to answer. So transformation, and I'll get that out of there so you guys don't have to look at it. And the reason I'm sharing this, all of us as competitors have an opportunity to inspire other people. All of us that compete bring friends and family that go sit in the audience. Why not share our knowledge, encourage them to make a change, encourage them to better their lives? We all have the tools, we have the experience, we have something to share. Transformation is a great place for that. I put this in here because if you're a coach, a trainer, or even just a competitor, if there's a local contest or a contest you're doing that offers transformation, why not try and inspire those folks that come out and support us and see if maybe we can't share our experience and knowledge with them, and maybe they can't change their life as well. John has asked, can you do bodybuilding and men's physique? At this point in time, no, because though they are similar categories, they are still different. And if you look at the poses between bodybuilding and men's physique, they're going to be different. So the OCB does not allow a crossover from bodybuilding to men's. It would be men's classic physique. So no, you can't do that. If that was your question, John, if the question was, can a competitor do men's bodybuilding and also do men's physique? So men's physique with the board short, the answer again would be no, because they should be two different looks. And the OCB does not currently allow a crossover between those two categories. So transformation, again, we have the ability to help other people change lives. We're doing it. Why not share our knowledge? Invite some of them to experience competing, maybe give them that line in the sand, a date on the calendar to finally make a change. We do run a website called the Project Strong. That's where these images are from. They're people that have done our contest. If they've got an inspiring story, or if you have an inspiring story, your clients have one, and you want to share it, we'd love to share it on the Project Strong. That is both our. Oh, look at. That's going to be on our website, theprojectstrong.com, or on Instagram at theprojectstrong. But again, I think there's a huge opportunity to inspire other people. If we're competitors, or if we're coaches or trainers, maybe they don't want to go the contest route, but they might be willing to do the transformation, and in doing so, improve their health and wellness. Plus, they're going to be more inclined to support you in your future competition endeavors. All right, classes. And how are they split? This is an image from one of our events. We typically, in the OCB, and it's at the promoter's discretion, we split for our events by height. If it's 100% drug-free contest, by height tends to make the most sense, because people of similar height are going to be of similar size. When you look at the height breakdown, and I know this is blurry right here, the class part doesn't matter. You guys, this is height in inches. We try and split our contest when we get to 12 or 13 competitors. The reason for that is it is a contest, and we don't want to just sell trophies and try and give every single competitor the opportunity to get a trophy. When you look at these numbers, if we did split one, so class 1 would be yellow, class 2 green, class 3 blue. If we award top 5, it's pretty much everybody's now getting a trophy, and it starts to become a little bit less of a contest. And again, this is at promoter's discretion. But the reason I wanted to show this to you guys is, one, explain how we arrive at it for our events, and other promoters do the same. But then also, it's really important to get your entry forms in early. As the event nears, the promoters, depending on what awards they're using, they might have to commit initially for awards 2 months in advance. They might have to give final numbers for what awards they need weeks in advance. And if many of these entries arrive a few weeks before the contest, if the awards and the trophy plaques have all been purchased, it's hard to add or take away classes. So get your entry forms in early. And if you're tuned in and you're listening to this, think about the last contest you did. When did you finally commit to competing? Probably pretty darn close to the date of the event. All right, Lindsay's got a question. There are no bad questions, no silly questions. They're all good questions and an opportunity for us to learn. If somebody is about 5'5.5", well, then you would be 65.5. Elena asked, how far in advance should you send in your entry forms? What I can tell you from experience is the people that tend to be committed the soonest to a contest tend to take more time in their prep, a lot more serious, and they end up bringing a better package to the stage. So I would say the earlier you enter and commit to doing a contest, the sooner you start taking your prep, your training, your nutrition serious, and start doing the little things well. So I would say this as a coach, I'd say this as a trainer to a potential competitor. If you're considering doing a contest, sign up and let's get going. Let's start taking it serious. From a promoter standpoint, it starts making it a lot easier to plan and lay out the contest when we know, or we have a better idea of where we're going to end up in terms of number of entries, in terms of how many people might end up in figure, if that makes sense. Good questions, guys. Scoring. So how is it all scored? Again, this is a photo from one of our events over the last couple years. We're pretty fortunate. We've got a great venue. So where it says Bikini Novice, during what's typically called prejudging or judging, we're displaying who's on stage. And then during the finals, this part of our screen turns into an HD video board, and everything on stage is being broadcast live up on the screen. But let's talk. Let's see, what's this one? Do you need to pay? We're going to, Joan, we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit about that in a second. So if we can just kind of hold on to your question there, we will get to it. I've got some slides and some information on that. But for now, let's knock out scoring. Okay, these are tab sheets from a recent contest that we did. Right here, we have the number of the competitor. We have how many people were in the group. And then my chicken scratch notes on where they ended up place-wise. There's an odd number of judges. We'll typically have 5 to 7 judges at an event. The high and the low score, okay, so Judge 1, this is how Judge 1, how she placed the competitors. This is how Judge 2 did. So on and so forth for the 5 competitors. The high and the low score are tossed. Now, forgive me, the strike through doesn't show up on the number 4, but the yellow highlighted scores were tossed out. The remaining 3 scores are added together, and we get a total. And from there, it's like golf, lowest score wins. So if you're newer to competing, you may have never actually seen this. If you're a veteran and it's been competing for a while, you still may have never seen this. But this is how the actual scoring works. The judges fill out score sheets. The only thing the judges have are your numbers. They don't get your competitor name. So it's one effort we take to remove bias. It's just competitor number, and then they can write in their scores. Then we take the judges' sheets, and we take the judges' scores and put them on the tabulation sheet. And this is a screenshot of one of our tabulation sheets from a contest last year from Microsoft Excel. High and the low scores are tossed out again. It's another way to try and remove bias, and then also maybe a judge is way in left field and they're seeing something totally different than everybody else. It gives us a chance to kind of remove some of that and make this scoring a little more accurate and precise. In this case, we have Bikini Open 1, Bikini Open 2. This was an unconditional OCB Pro Qualifier. So the first place competitor from Bikini Open 1, which was competitor number 5, then competed against Bikini Open 2, competitor number 38 for the overall. So, and the overall win went to, in this case, competitor number 38. So she won her OCB Pro card. As soon as she left stage, she had to take the urine test immediately. Steve, thanks for the kind words, brother. Appreciate it. So I'm seeing some chat stuff the rest of you guys don't see. So that kind of explains it. So Bikini Open 1, Bikini Open 2. There's an Open 1 group and an Open 2 group. Overall winner is decided between the first place from Bikini Open 2 and first place from Bikini Open 1. So competitor 5 and 38 are going to be live judged for the overall during the awards part of the contest. Overall winner was number 38. She had to submit immediately to urine test and went on to not only earn and then keep the OCB Pro card because she passed the urine test. Won in novice and lost in open. Guess what? It happens. And here's why. Probably the biggest reason this happens. Nerves matter. The first time a competitor gets on stage the day of the contest, all of us are nervous. I am not afraid to go out and MC our events in front of a few hundred spectators. I have no problem doing a live webinar like this. But if you invited me over to a backyard barbecue of 13 people, I would be uncomfortable and I'd be nervous. And even when I get on stage, most of the time I am, as a competitor, nervous. So if you go out, let's say in novice, and you're nervous and you're scared to death, you are not going to present your best physique. When you come out in the open, the butterflies have subsided, you feel a little bit better, you're not as scared. Lo and behold, you're going to present a better you. All of you that are tuned in that have competed before, think about that. First time on stage for a particular event, you might be a little apprehensive, a little nervous. When you go out again and maybe the open or the masters, butterflies are gone, you feel a little better, confidence goes up, esteem goes up, and guess what? You present a better package. So this is why you can see somebody place, for example, in second place in the novice, and then in the open, they might get third place. And it's just a matter of they got second in the novice because that person that beats them in the open was scared to death. The best thing you can do to prevent that is practice your posing early. Early isn't a week before the contest. Early isn't 2 weeks before the contest. Practice your posing. Start early. Get comfortable. If you're a female competing in, you have to wear heels. Get used to and get comfortable walking in your contest heels. I've seen ladies that are comfortable wearing a shoe with a heel, switch over to a stage shoe that's got a higher heel, get on stage and walk like a robot or a duck. Get the practice in. Get some practice in if your gym allows it where you train. Get some practice in being in your posing trunks, your posing suit and your shoes in a public environment. All those things you can do on the front end to knock the nerves down are going to help you be your best, be confident, have a high self-esteem, and show your best physique the first time on stage. So how is it possible that you can have a flip-flop like that? That's reason one. Reason number two is the group of competitors that goes out in the novice is not always the same that goes out in the open. And this could be the same novice and masters. It could be open and masters. You're always going to be judged among the group of people on stage at that time. And that group is not always going to be the same for both novice and open, or open and masters, or novice and masters, or novice, open, and masters. You're always judged among the group of people you're on stage with at that time, not relative to the people that were out prior in the novice when you're out there for open. So practice your posing, do everything you can to knock those nerves back and get comfortable. And also be aware that you're judged relative to the people on stage at that time, not at a different time. T-walks. This is kind of a busy diagram. First and foremost, stage walks, posing routines, individual posing routines, etc., are not scored. They're not currently scored, so they don't contribute to your score and your placing. Okay? For our contest, we make them optional. We make it optional because there's some people that, you know what, they're in some cases, quite honestly, they're scared to death to go out by themselves. In other cases, they just don't want to do it. Whatever the reason, it doesn't matter. They're optional for our contest. They're not scored. Typically, you'll submit your own music. You don't have to. Most events, like we'll play house music if you don't. If you do submit your own music, make sure you remove any profanity or anything like that. Again, most of the events have a very mixed audience. Those of us that have kids, we have kids in the audience. We have people that don't appreciate the language. So clean up the music. Pick the clean version when you buy it and download it from iTunes or wherever you may get it. Stage walk. If you're bikini or figure, more often than not, you'll hear the word T-walk, and that quite simply just refers to your walk. If you're entering from stage left, would be walk to the center, up and back, to the left, to the center, to the right, and then maybe back out or some combination. The bottom line is you make the letter T. There's nothing set in stone with this. So it's basically a letter T. Same thing if you enter stage right. It's basically walking in a shape that resembles the letter T. Now, when you get on stage and you look at your T-walk, most venues, most theaters, most auditoriums, whatever it might be, center stage is going to typically be defined with an X or a mark of some type. That's going to be where the best light is. So when you're thinking about practicing what your walk's going to be, know that when you get to your venue, if you've never been there before the contest even starts, like during check-in, peek at the stage and see if they've marked center stage. And it's totally okay to ask the promoters to have somebody from the theater, the school, the venue, the auditorium to go ahead and mark that. I do want to add one of our contributors or somebody chimed in and did point out that, yes, even back to the novice and open, if you go on stage in novice and go back out 20 minutes later in open, you've eaten some food, drank some water, that's going to play a role as well to when we see places flip-flop and somebody look better in one group than they did in the other. So this is a T-walk for typically bikini and figure. Men's board short or men's physique will do that. Posing routines for things like men's classic physique and men's bodybuilding. You can certainly do a T-walk. Again, there's no rhyme or reason. It's not set in stone by the OCB. It's kind of you do whatever allows you to show your absolute best. T-walks are not optional for all OCB events. They are optional for the two contests that we promote here in DeKalb, Illinois. So again, that's something you want to check with the promoter for the individual contest that you've chosen to enter. So good question, Joan. But yeah, I'm sorry if I made that unclear, but no, that it just for the events we promote here in DeKalb, they're optional. Okay. This is going to happen. Try as we might, leverage the power of technology, do a lot of legwork on the front end, provide you the best possible experience. Sometimes the sound person, technician, what have you, is going to play the wrong song. Sometimes they're going to play no song at all. If that happens, the show must go on. Make the most of it. It's an imperfect system. We do everything we can. Mistakes happen. Sometimes there may be an issue with an audio file. Sometimes there might be profanity. Sometimes we outright drop the ball, make a mistake, and we play the wrong song. Sometimes there's a problem with the audio equipment. The show must go on. Nobody in the audience knows what you are planning to do for your routine. Maybe your friends and family or your coach does or your team does, but nobody in the audience knows what you're planning to do. So either politely walk off stage and wait for them to attempt to get it right, understand they might not be able to get it right, or just go on with the show. Okay, I got some questions I didn't see. I apologize. They just popped up. Andrea, how do you decide figure versus physique? I would take a look at the OCBonline.com. I would look at the criteria, for example, of figure versus women's physique and see where your body type best fits. Okay, so that's where, you know, you're going to need to look at you and see where you best fit. And it's going to be, you know, take a look at the criteria, take a look at the judging criteria and see if it's figure versus women's physique. Figure is not going to have as much muscle mass and as much definition as women's physique. The poses for women's physique will be different than the four facings for figure. So again, I would review that on OCBonline.com. Elena asks, are T-walks beneficial or can they actually hurt the overall score? I don't think that the T-walks, the stage walk is not going to be included in the scoring. I don't think it's going to help or hurt you. The one thing it does give you is more time on stage. And if you're going to compete again or you're never going to compete again, it's more time on stage that day. When you look at competing in the future, we're going to talk a little bit about this down the road in the presentation today. The more experience you have, the easier it's going to be for you to get comfortable at the next contest on stage and show your best physique. All right, so back to the current slide. The show must go on. Work with it. We're not perfect. If the music doesn't work, you know, politely excuse yourself from the stage. Give them a minute to make it work. Sometimes it's not possible, so go out there, have fun, do your best, but at the end of the day, the show must go on. OCB show types. Not every contest is a pro qualifier. Not every contest is an unconditional pro qualifier, and some are super pro qualifiers. So you'll need to pay attention to the verbiage on the marketing for the contest, double check with the promoter, and ask, you know, where are they with, entries? Do they have enough to offer a pro card? Or are they going to offer a pro card for sure? And then ask if it's a super pro qualifier where more than one pro card will be offered. Types of membership. Every competitor, just like they need to be drug tested, needs to have an OCB membership. For all amateurs, okay, until you've won your OCB Pro card, you do not need a pro membership. So this isn't for you. And this is probably going to be like 80%, 85% of the competitors and probably most of you tuned in. You just need an amateur membership. And the OCB membership is good for right at or about a full year. It does not expire on the 31st of December. Some organizations, if you buy a membership in November, on January 1st, your membership's expired. You have to buy another one. But just like drug testing and polygraphing, every competitor in the OCB needs this OCB amateur membership. You can get that on OCBonline.com. $75. It's good for basically a full year, not till the end of the calendar year, a full year. That's another OCB difference. I went and screen capped a section of our what will probably have been our last paper entry form. This is what it typically looks like what does it take to enter. You're going to have an entry fee. You're going to have a crossover fee. If you're going to do, for example, Jen Roy, looks like you raised your hand. Jen, if you could submit a question in the Q&A or do a chat, I'd be happy to answer whatever you would like to know. You're going to have entry fee. You're going to have polygraph. And that's it. If you elect to cross over, so maybe do novice and open or novice and masters, you're going to have a crossover fee. If you elect to do novice, masters, and open, you're going to have the entry fee, which would cover, so entry fee would cover the novice. You'll have one crossover fee for the masters and another crossover fee for the open. So you'll actually have two crossover fees. And then everybody is polygraph drug tested unless you've drug tested within 6 weeks. Tanning, we offer tanning at our events. Our theater doesn't allow tanning solution to be applied outside of the people we have do it because stuff's gotten damaged. So you may not see tanning all the time. So basically you're going to have most contests, you'll have your entry, you'll have a crossover if applicable, and then polygraph drug testing. No worries, Jen, you're all good. We could contest. Our contest, depending on the number of competitors and entries, will typically start checking competitors in and doing polygraphs on Wednesday or Thursday, definitely Friday, the week of the contest. We give preference to those that entered first and those that live furthest away. We have had competitors from Europe, Canada, and all over the continental United States. So it's reasonable that if you live an hour and a half to 2 hours from the venue, we're going to ask you to come in and polygraph on Thursday and check in. No different than if you run a 5K, 10K half marathon or full marathon, you got to do your package pickup in advance. Same deal. And we try and give those Friday spots to people that have to get on an airplane and travel many hours to get here. If you're doing tanning with a spray tan provider, you're probably going to get a base coat on Friday and top coat or top coats plural, as well as touch-ups on Saturday. You're going to compete on Saturday. So this is for like our events, and this would be most. Wednesday through Friday is going to be check-in and polygraph. Tanning will be Friday and Saturday, and then you'll compete on Saturday. At check-in, you'll typically get a swag bag. We hustle hard to give competitors a lot of bang for their entry buck. This isn't an overall. This isn't a winter bag. This isn't somebody got a trophy bag. This is everybody got this in their bag. 3 Monster Energy drinks, reusable Hy-Vee grocery bag, MTS outright bar, some sample core nutritionals products, some Monster Energy gear. Actually, we got 4 Monsters, tattoos, stickers, Driftless Glen t-shirt, contest t-shirt. So you'll get a swag bag at check-in, as well as your numbers. Okay, you can see the numbers in the background here. Don't lose your numbers when you get your numbers. The judges need those so they know who you are, so they can score you the day of the contest. Straight through format. Most of the OCB contests, or many of them today, there's not a big break midday where we do pre-judging in the morning, take a few hours off, finals at night. It doesn't make sense for your friends and family. They want to come see you get on stage and they want to go have something to eat. So looking at a better experience for you, the competitor, and a better experience for your friends and family, most of us have gone to a straight through format. So typically and I'm going to show you an example of this in a second. We're going to start off with judging, brief intermission, routines, awards, get you out of there. Our contest, if we have like 70 competitors, 80 competitors, we can start at noon and we're done with the whole thing around 4 p.m. The venue, the day of the contest, most of the time you're going to the venue. This is an outside shot of the National Landmark Egyptian Theater where we hold our events. Be aware of when you're at the venue, what you sit on, what you touch with your tanning, your oil. There are some venues that don't allow contests anymore because things have been damaged. That led to us no longer being able to have people bring in their own tanning stuff and apply it at the theater. So just be aware of that venue because we're lucky to have the ones that we do, and we don't want to lose them. Day of the contest. Now, I know some of you are probably not going to, there we go. Right out of one of my production spreadsheets for one of our recent contests, 8 o'clock, show up, get your top coat of tanning. 10 o'clock, we check in again. Why would we check you in again? Well, because my shows start on time at noon. And if you're not at the theater, we're not waiting for you, and it's happened. We've had people go outside and not come back. The show started. We had competitors arrive after the show started. Everybody's got to check in. We want to make sure we have 100% attendance. If someone's not there, maybe they had a car issue, maybe they had a family emergency, we want to be able to have time to reach out, contact you, and make sure that we know what's going on and expect to not have you. Or if you're going to be late, we want to let our staff know. But if you miss your class at our show or when you would have gone on stage, unfortunately, you're out. Judges arrive at 10:40, 11 a.m. We let spectators into the lobby area. 12:20, we send all the competitors to the pump-up area, dressing area. 11:30, the general public's allowed into the theater. At noon, we start pre-judging. And we put the men first because there's more women in contests these days. This way, the guys don't get on stage and have an empty auditorium. Men's physique, and there's nothing sacred in this order. Every promoter has the right and opportunity within the OCB to do it in a different order. Men's physique, men's classic physique, men's bodybuilding, transformation, figure, bikini. Within those, we go masters, novice, open. Again, this isn't set in stone either. It's totally up to the promoter. Ignore my notes that I should have deleted on music. After the judging part, we'll take an intermission. This allows bathroom break, us to finish tabulation. We bring competitors that have elected to do routines out for their 60-second routine. We go in order by competitor number, and we do it this way because it's highly efficient. Our goal is to provide a great experience to competitors and spectators. Doing the routines this way makes it efficient. Once the routines are over, if the judges need another bathroom break, we might take 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll hand out awards to top 5. If it's an OCB Pro qualifying group, the overall winner needs to do a urine test. So that's what a day of contest looks like. The Yorton Cup, here's Jessie Ostrowski. She won her pro card at the OCB Midwest States a couple years ago and has done very well beyond that at the pro level. The Yorton Cup's probably the premier, top of the heap. I don't think it gets better in drug-free bodybuilding for a pro event. It's big, it's well-run, it's organized, competitors are taken care of. Those looking to earn their OCB Pro card, this is kind of the crown jewel to go here and do well. Yorton Cup's named after Chet Yorton. This is Chet, probably the father of drug-free natural bodybuilding. The Yorton, again, draws natural athletes from around the world to Washington, D.C., and the really good stuff we're going to show in a minute here. So what does it mean to be an OCB Pro? Here's Larry Jones, won his OCB Pro card with us. Again, you're going to see the green OCB logo. Typically, that's the Pro logo. But here's what's really cool in the direction the OCB is going. Big payouts. And if the OCB says there's money, you're getting the money. So when we look at, what does that mean? There's no contingency. There's no fine print. It's, if the OCB says for the Yorton Cup in a month and a half or what have you, first place gets $3,000. It's kind of a big deal. Equal payouts for men and women, kind of a big deal. Gives you incentive to want to move on and progress to that legitimate 100% drug tested, drug-free pro card and actually have an arena where if you win, you get rewarded. So that's 2019. Check this out for 2020. That's that's huge. $7,500 to win first place at the Yorton. The other pro contest, and again, in 2020, most of 2019 contest year for pros, we're coming to an end. But when you look at 2020, this is real money. And this, $2,500 to win first, male or female, in an OCB Pro contest. And there's no fine print. There's no, we didn't get enough entries. We didn't this. That's the real payout. The Yorton alone in 2020, look at this, guys, $90,000. That's huge. Again, and that's part of, the premier drug-free contest, the Yorton Cup. Resources for our contest, ocbmidweststates.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook. And again, like I always direct everybody, like if you have not been on ocbonline.com, get on there and take a look at the info. Learn what the banned substances are. Learn what the difference between bikini and figure are. And does your physique better lend itself to figure or to bikini? And we follow the OCB guidelines, and we've had competitors enter bikini and they should have been in figure. And you know what? Yes, they were big and lean, but they didn't belong in figure, so therefore they didn't win in figure, or didn't belong in bikini, therefore they didn't win in bikini, where if they would have entered figure, they would have done much better and probably won. Familiarize yourself with the info on ocbonline.com. Things that we can tell you from over the years, from a judging, coaching, training, promoting standpoint, practice your posing, practice early. If you've never been to an OCB show as a spectator, go and watch. Use the tanning that's provided by the event. It'll be less stressful. Typically, it's provided by people that have sprayed competitors. There is a difference between going to the tanning salon and getting airbrush tanned and having somebody spray you that sprays competitors. The solutions are different. The color is different. How dark it is different. All of that. Always cross over as much as possible. This is kind of my compete twice in one show. How you do it, crossover. Suit selection, don't break the bank. For women especially, it's easy to buy an $800 contest suit. Can't even swim in it. Buy one that shows the best you. Buy one that you're comfortable wearing. Buy one in that you feel the best in, not one that's super small or whatever. It's all about you feeling great and showing the best you on stage. No, I don't think color and style of the suit really gives you a competitive advantage. I think Joan asked that question. I think competitive advantage comes from you feeling like $1 million on stage and having that confidence show through in the presentation of your physique. Stay humble, have fun, maintain balance in your life. Unfortunately, even with the big numbers the OCB Pro is paying out, there's no $1 million contract in this. Don't compare yourself to others, especially on social media. Make friends. Don't get discouraged. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. Spend time on prep. I can tell you that the more time you spend on prep, the easier the prep, the better the results. And this is huge here. This is physique contest. It's not like you swung the bat and hit the ball. You shot the ball, went through the hoop. You picked the barbell up off the floor and were able to lift it in the deadlift. All of those things are very quantifiable. The ball went through the hoop, 2 points. The bat hit the ball, it's a base hit, or what have you. This physique contest, it's the opinion relative to the guidelines of the OCB of whoever might be on stage. And at the end of the day, it's you versus you. And if you focus on you versus you, you're going to have a good contest experience. It's really hard to think that you've done everything and you're going to win. It just doesn't work that way. You never know who's going to show up. You never know who's going to be on stage with you. There's many people that have done this for 10 years, 15 years, in some cases more. It just, it's you versus you. Start your prep early. I started asking competitors the last few years at our contest how much time they spent doing prep. And I will tell you, the people that do better, win more, win overalls, probably spent 20 or more weeks in prep. So that 8 to 12 weeks or 4 months might not be enough, especially if it's your first contest. So start your prep early. Again, back to what I was saying before, 10-year overnight success and the fact you don't know who's going to be on stage. For a lot of people in the drug-free side of the sport, it's going to take 10 years or so, and you're going to be in your early mid-30s before your physique is really starting to mature. Be patient, put in the work, allow the time. There's no skipping this step. You can't accelerate the time. If you're consistent for this amount of time, or more, you're going to have a great physique on stage. This is our next event. Saturday before Thanksgiving, Unconditional Pro Qualifier. We are going to be giving the Pro Cards out for sure. November 23rd, Figure, Bikini, Physique, Bodybuilding, Classic, Physique, and Transformation. Get connected, volunteer, go to the contest. One of the best things you can do is ask to be a trial judge, sit at that head table, and see things from the judge's perspective. You will have a completely different and improved understanding of the sport of physique competition by sitting at that table. I encourage everybody, go and volunteer, help out at the contest. Better yet, ask if you can trial judge. I'll shamelessly ask you to follow us on social media, OCB Midwest States, at the Project Strong. Back to the Project Strong. If you know somebody that's got a powerful transformation story, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share their story. Julie asked, qualified coach. Julie, I'll send you some extra info, but on the OCBonline.com website, I believe there is a link to coaches, so you can check that out. Entry for our events is OCB Midwest States. Now, are there any questions? Anybody? Yes, Joan, that's me. Joan asked if that's me in the picture. Yes, that's me. And that's my Corvette clock. Sorry for the background noise. If there's anything that you guys still have, yes, Sarah, there are. I will message you in a couple minutes in regards to that. If you're sitting around later today and you're like, boy, there's this I would like to know, or I didn't understand this, by all means, reach out to me. If you look at this and you're like, boy, that was decent, but this would make it a lot better, I'd love to hear it. I have no problem doing this again if it provides value. I have no problem doing this again and incorporating more of what you guys out there that are competitors need to know, simply because, I want to help you. That's the whole reason for doing this. So we're all ears. I would love to hear from you if you've got feedback on making it better. Steve, I'm trying to read what you got. What flexibility of posing selections? Okay, so men's physique competitors, if you look at the website, I would look at the website and compare and contrast the specifics on men's bodybuilding versus men's classic physique. There is some wiggle room and at the competitor discretion on how they do the pose. Typically, Steve, if the head judge is seeing something they don't like or is not to the OCB rules and regulations, a good head judge will call that out and ask that particular competitor to do the pose per what they're on stage for. So if they're doing something that is clearly labeled and only done in men's classic physique, in men's bodybuilding, a good head judge is going to go ahead and say, competitor number 23, that's a men's classic physique pose. We would like you to do the version for men's bodybuilding. Men's physique, men's classic physique, men's bodybuilding, all of our routines are limited to a maximum of about 60 seconds or 1 minute. Our sound technician will start fading the music down somewhere after that minute mark, but we don't set, they have up to that 60 seconds and they can go out for 10 seconds, they can go out for 30 seconds. It's whatever the competitor is going to show them in the best light. What else does everybody have? Is there only a limited amount of in-house tanning spots? No, John, we've accommodated as many as like 75 or 80 competitors. Lindsay, the costs that I showed were from an older contest and from a paper entry form. What is currently on the OCB Midwest States for our current fall contest is going to be different from those numbers. That's a good call. Yeah, so those are different. I was going to show what's on the website, but I couldn't get it to blow up in a slide and have it high enough resolution that you guys could actually read it while looking at the actual presentation today in the webinar. Should you register online? Yes. At least for our contest, pretty much it's 100% digital online registration. I don't think we've gotten, and we don't even offer the opportunity to register by mail and paper entry form anymore. I don't think we have in about a year. Michelle, thanks for the kind words. One last thing. Oh, wait a minute. Regarding winning an OCB Pro card, is it possible for, yes. Anthony, this does not happen often. And it almost never used to happen. But in the last probably 2.5 or 3 years of the 2 contests I promote per year. So in the last 6 contests, and I can speak from my experience, last 6 contests that I've promoted, we've seen first-time competitors win a pro card. And that's what got me asking questions like, how long did you prep? And I would say the average prep time was probably closer to 24 weeks. But yes, it does most definitely happen. Lindsay, no, for our contest, I can only speak for us, and this is the result of our venue. You do not have to tan with us at our events, but you cannot apply your Dream Tan, your Pro Tan, or any other tanning products within the theater. You have to arrive with your tanning on. The theater won't let us do it. We've had upholstery, carpet, curtains, bathroom fixtures all damaged or ruined and requiring professional commercial cleaning because of outdoor tanning stuff. So as long as you can arrive with tanning, you just cannot apply it within the actual theater. Let's see. Again, guys, seriously, if there's other information you guys feel was left out or there's something we can do different or better, would love to hear from you. One last thing, and this is big. I mean, at the end of the day, those of us that promote, we don't have an opportunity to promote without you as competitors. And those of us that are competitors and promoters, the organization, we don't have the ability to promote events if your friends and family are not out there in the audience supporting you. So again, if you haven't thanked your significant other, that person in the cubicle next to you, the teacher down the hall that teaches at the same school that you do, that goes to all your events, make sure you say thanks to them, because without them, we won't have an event. We won't be able to afford to. We won't be able to have our sport if this is even a sport. So please, know that we appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of the OCB. Thanks for doing our contest. And again, please extend that word of thanks out to, your friends and family that attend the events, because without them, really we have nothing. I'm going to give it another minute or so for more questions. I will probably follow up with an email or two to you guys after this is over. This is the first time I've done anything like this. I appreciate it. Joan, what was I did not see your question pop up. I'm scrolling through. When will they release the Atlantic City Show 222 information? I'm not the promoter of that contest. You'll probably want to go to OCB Online, click the link on the schedule page. It should give you information about the promoter, Joan, of that Atlantic City show, and it should provide you an email. If not, I would contact the OCB through the contacts on the OCBOnline.com website and ask them. The bikini bottoms, no T-box, no thong back, and I think that would probably refer also to Brazilian cut. That's not what the contest is about. It's not, wearing the smallest bikini is not going to ensure that you win. It has nothing to do with that. I always tell competitors, find a suit, find trunks that allow you to present the best you, and do that in a classy way. Same thing, Joan, I would say go to OCBOnline.com and review the information for bikini and suit cuts, because I do believe it's got some information about that on there. I'm going to scroll down. I see some more. Okay, Joan, you're good. Novice versus open. Novice means, and I didn't cover this earlier, I apologize. Novice means you have not won first place in a contest of more than one before. And again, if you want to compete more than once in one contest, you should enter everything you're eligible for. So John, if you're over the age of 40, I would tell you, if you are eligible for novice, meaning you've not won first place before, do novice. Do the open, and if you're over the age of 40, do the masters. It allows you to prep one time, compete 3 times, same day, same event. Plus, it's going to give you more time on stage. And if you're one and done, never do this again, you'll have more experience on stage that you can look back and say you did. Or if you're looking to do more contests in the future, that stage experience is priceless. It's going to allow you to come out the first time on stage in your next event and have a lot less stress, less butterflies, less nerves, and show a much better you right off the bat. You will compete with others of similar height depending on how many competitors there are. So it depends on the promoter, and it depends on how many competitors enter and when they enter in terms of height. Debut is up to the promoter. I can't speak for other promoters. We don't offer debut because it's so similar to novice. And I would say, why not just do novice? Transformation is more of the bucket list item though. Good questions, everybody. This is good information. Anybody else have anything? Well, this was a good experience. I appreciate all of you for taking time out of your day, joining this. It is appreciated. I know the organization appreciates it. Again, I'm open to feedback, good, bad, or otherwise. Going forward, I will probably do some more things like this. So stay tuned. If there's interest, I'll do it. I have no problem with that. Would love to see some of you that were here today join our next contest, Saturday, November 23rd. That's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. It's the OCB Midwest States Unconditional OCB Pro Qualifier. We've been promoting that one since 2005. And then also, if you're on social media, and I think I only know like 1 or 2 lucky people that are not on Facebook or Instagram. So that means the rest of us are. Please follow us on Instagram. Please check out our Facebook page, like our page. That's the fastest way to find out what's going on, at least for my events. And then I'd follow the OCB organization's pages as well, because that's the fastest way to get current, breaking information for the organization. It's going to show up on social media first. It may trickle down into an email second, but as it's happening, pretty much it's showing up on social media. Again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If nobody has more questions, this is last call for questions. And it looks like we don't. So thanks again, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Good luck with your prep. Hopefully see you on stage. Bye-bye.